Thank you very much for your attendance amid your busy schedule despite this bad weather. Now we would like to start the press conference of JAMA, the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association. First, let me introduce today's speaker, Chairman Masanori Katayama, Vice Chairman Toshihiro Suzuki, Vice Chairman Koji Sato, Vice Chairman Makoto Uchida, Vice Chairman Toshihiro Mibe, Vice Chairman Motofumi Shitara, Vice Chairman Akira Matsunaga. A total of 7 speakers. Mr. Shitara, newly appointed as a vice chair at today's board, will give you a few words. Mr. Shitara, please. I am newly appointed as a vice chair. I am Shitara from the Yamaha. Through JAMA's activities, I would like to make a contribution to the development of the industry. Well, there are 7 issues identified: green energy, data linkage, the two-wheel vehicle committee. These are the areas of my responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Chairman Katayama will give you a few words of remarks. Hello to all of you. This is Katayama. First of all, at today's board meeting, we will explain about what has been discussed. It is mainly about the topics such as response to the U.S. trade policy. The second topic is the future-oriented type of the approval applications that were discussed. And the third topic was the 7 challenges. And this is as usually explained. The fourth topic is about the Japan Mobility Show that will be held this year once more. So an active discussion was held in regards to that. Taking into account the discussions that took place there, I would like to offer my opening remarks focusing on what the automobile industry is currently working on. First of all, in recent years, the international situation has become increasingly uncertain, making it difficult to predict the future investment environment in the automotive business as well. For example, the United States has launched various trade policies for each country. The Japanese automakers, in order to contribute to the American economy and society, began local production 43 years ago in 1982 and have actively promoted local procurement of parts. As part of our work with the American companies, we have fostered continued employment and investment. As a result, the cumulative investment amount was $61.6 billion by 2023. Local production volume is 3.2 million units per year. The cumulative amount of local procurement is $1.5 trillion. Direct employment in the United States is estimated at 110,000, and including indirect employment, it will create 2.2 million jobs. It continues to make a huge contribution. Furthermore, the number of vehicles exported from Japan to the United States has fallen sharply from a peak time of 3.43 million units in 1986 to 1.37 million units. However, the United States remains an important destination for Japan, as it is Japan's #1 export destination, accounting for 6 trillion yen in automobile exports and approximately 30% of total automobile exports. Exports from Japan is essential because it will complement local production by Japanese automakers and will provide a lineup of safe, reliable, and environmentally friendly vehicles to meet the diverse needs of American customers through auto dealerships in every state across the country. The Trump administration is currently considering imposing an additional 25% tariff on automobiles. If this tariff is applied to cars exported from Japan, Mexico, and Canada, there are concerns that it will have a negative impact on the economies of both Japan and the United States. We would like to ask the Japanese government to continue to make efforts to make the additional tariffs excluded. We also hope that the U.S. government will continue to provide policies and a business environment that are highly predictable and allow Japanese automakers to invest with confidence. The automobile industry at the important period of transformation, maintaining a strong and open trade system between Japan and the United States is extremely important to Japan's automobile industry, which employs 5.5 million people. Therefore, JAMA will take various opportunities to highlight the contributions that Japanese automakers make to the U.S. automobile industry through their continued investment and job creation, and we will continue to work to raise awareness about the need to avoid the additional tariffs. Based on the above, today, together with METI, we discussed our response to U.S. policies, focusing on the sense of the crisis felt by the industry and what the public and private sectors can do together. We will continue to deepen cooperation between the public and private sectors and respond as one. Next, in order to promote fair trade, the heads of the JAMA and JAPIA will meet, and through close cooperation, we are strongly promoting the spread of fair trading with compliance with laws and regulations as a fundamental premise. Going forward, with the twin aims of ensuring the competitiveness of Japan manufacturing and creating a healthy trading environment, the two associations will continue to work together to promote understanding throughout the supply chain by working to expand partnerships, building declarations, and holding seminars in supplier clusters. Furthermore, JAMA revised its voluntary action plan in January of this year. Payment of costs required for mold storage after mass production is completed, and promotion of the disposal and return of unnecessary molds and pay the necessary fees will be clarified and made appropriate. And we'll publicize this policy so that it will be disseminated to all the suppliers. Next, about the designation of the model types applications. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism announced the following at the end of the last year. Study group for the prevention of fraudulent activities related to vehicle type approval. Based on this summary, JAMA will take the appropriate actions. At the same time, the creation of systems and mechanisms aimed at improving international competitiveness given the rapid pace of technological advancements in car manufacturing today, and there is no time to wait. We would also like to begin future-oriented discussions together with the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism regarding the form of certification system that will be able to respond to new technologies that are suited to the future digital age. We at JAMA are working to achieve carbon neutrality. The environment surrounding the automotive industry, including mass and case, is changing. As the situation becomes increasingly severe, we are working on the 7 challenges. The chairman and vice chairman will be leaders of each of the themes and will continue to hold study sessions with Keizaren companies to achieve concrete results towards solving problems through the efforts of the entire Japan. We will accelerate our considerations of this matter. And in the beginning of this year, there was an announcement of JAMA Vision 2035. And here, we outlined the future we are aiming for the hope of deepening understanding from the society as a whole and gaining further support for the initiatives and ideas of the automotive industry. We would like to advance JAMA's activities, including the 7 challenges, from a medium to long-term perspective, while deepening cooperation with other industries and the government. And this year, we will be holding the Japan Mobility Show, a reborn version of the Tokyo Motor Show. Last year, we held a forum for creating the future and building relationships with startup companies that will lead the next generation. We held the Japan Mobility Show Biz Week 2024, a business event to generate code creation, and 866 business matching occurred. Based on these results, this year we aim to create a show event that can be enjoyed by the general public to get people excited about the future of Japan. We will work on this together as All Japan. We are also considering programs that will allow visitors to appreciate not only the future of mobility but also the appeal of vehicles that have been passed down from the past, such as cars, motorcycles, and work vehicles. So please look forward to the Japan Mobility Show 2025. Lastly, this year will be a crucial year for reaching a decision on the fundamental review of the automobile tax system. Aiming to establish an automobile tax system appropriate for the new era, we would like to make a concerted effort to bring together the efforts of the entire automotive industry, and we would appreciate the media's continued understanding and support. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. And now we would like to go on to the Q&A session. As always requested, this is an opportunity to provide explanation as a JAMA. Therefore, please refrain from asking questions on individual companies, and we would like to receive as many questions as possible. Therefore, the only one question will be allowed per company. First, we would like to entertain a question from the floor. If you have any question, please raise your hand, and our staff members will hand over the microphone. And please identify yourself before asking your questions. Nikkan newspaper, I am Mizutani. I would like to hear more about the tariffs on top of the impacts on the industry. What would be the action to be taken by JAMA, or what is the request you are making to the government? Earlier, you mentioned that you have a consultation focusing on what the public and the private sector can do. So could you elaborate on what you can do as a private public sector? Well, Mr. Trump says that there is a non-tariff barrier that the Japanese market is not accepting the American cars. So could you also give us comment on that? As I mentioned earlier, at the board today, as an emergency agenda, Japan-U.S. trade situation was on the agenda, and we have a very active discussion. Basically speaking, the request we have been requesting to Japanese government has remained unchanged, and there is a concern of a big impact. So going forward, with the private and the public sector in unity, we have to work together as a Japanese car manufacturers. But we are operating in the United States as an American company, as we are the Japanese company, and that was reconfirmed. So whether the tariff will be avoided or not, there might be some difficult challenges. However, the President Mito visited the U.S. and built a strong relationship and trust with the U.S. And based on that, should something happens, well, avoidance of a tariff is obvious for us because we made a significant contribution to the American market. But timing-wise, if that is difficult to avoid, so what public and private sector can do as a response? So we would like to start a discussion as a preparation. Thank you.
Does that answer the question? Thank you very much. Next question, please. At the front side, please. Gentleman at the front, please. Jiji Kawasaki is my name. I would like to talk about the certification system. So future-oriented consideration was a word that was used. Going forward, SDV and new technology will continuously be put on the automobiles. Out of that, as a system, concretely, what is to be revisited? And as JAMA, the conclusion to be gained. If you have any image of some conclusion, I would like to hear about them. Is that for Mr. Katayama? To Mr. Katayama, please. Thank you for your question. As a matter of fact, today, about the model time specification discussion that onwent today, we at JAMA wants to explain about the basic position we will have. Last year, there was a major fraudulent incident, and as JAMA, to the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure, we have committed that for this issue, each company's leader would take this as a managerial issue, and active discussions will be exchanged. And in JAMA, we have such a venue for such discussions. Therefore, this should not be left alone, and it should be continuously taken up. That's the first point. The second point is, for this issue that was fraudulent, it is a distant cause, but the certification work involves a lot of workload at the factory site. Obviously, through technology advancements, there may be more alleviation of the workload, but the system itself needs to be revisited somewhat. Therefore, we will request for that, and how at the site the workload can be alleviated and how the work can be accelerated, which are very important, will be worked on. And that is the second policy. The third policy relates to the future-oriented perspective. For this, firstly, digitalization, namely DX compliance, is necessary. In SDV, in-car, out-of-car, both should be fully utilized. For that sake, international competitiveness is what it connects to directly. Therefore, by utilizing that, the system design should be created, and in what way it can be created will be considered too. In that way, from three perspectives, these points will be taken up, and it was confirmed today too that safety technology, or it is not to be designated just to the committee, but this issue should have it where the top leaders should confirm at all times within the board meetings so that private and public sector would work together so that this can be created. That's all for my question. Does that answer the question? Thank you very much.
The person in the second row, please. Journalist, I am Yamamoto. Regarding the tax reform, what is the progress of the discussion regarding the new tax in terms of the weight? I think it is difficult on a stepwise taxation. So there might be some coordination required with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of General Affairs. What would be the timeline for that? And at the time of announcement for the gasoline tax, there was no mentioning of the details. Therefore, could you please tell us the progress? Mr. Matsunaga, the Vice Chairman, will respond to that. Thank you very much. As JAMA, as already presented at the Research Commission on Tax System last year, so a reduction of a tax for the environmentally friendly cars needs to be removed, and the simplification for the ownership tax, etc. They were presented, and in the ruling party, the according remarks was presented. Currently, based on the tax reform platform, what kind of tax system is going to be developed? Along that line, we continue the discussion. At this point in time, I have to say it is still a working in progress. Going forward, we would like to have an opportunity to have a briefing with the media, and I'd like to ask for your understanding. And gasoline rate, tax rate, the tentative tax rate, the automotive weight tax or automotive tax for the that has still remains. So tentative tax for the car weight has still remained, which means that the excessive burden has been placed on the car owners. So if this is a tentative tax, that will require thorough, proper discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At the front row, the gentleman who raised his hand, please. Nakajima Minami office. As you became the vice chairperson, Mr. Shitara, I would like to ask about your experience, including overseas, about the two-wheelers. In Japan, people who purchase cars become more mature and older, and there has been a possibility of a wide range of people, but from four-wheelers, from bicycles, there is a trend that people forget about the bike future. And what do you think about it? Shitara speaking. Thank you for your question. I would like to respond to that. Firstly, for the two-wheeler industry representing the world, there are 4 manufacturers that are involved in manufacturing. Advanced nation, first of all, of which two-wheeler demand is where to become an industry leader is the position we would uptake, and therefore the position will be shown, and that's the timing we are at. The demand itself, unfortunately, 2 years ago was around under 400,000 units. As JAMA shows, the two-wheelers industry policy roadmap 2030 raises the various policy and challenges, and these will be assembled by carbon neutrality and safety and security, which are themes. By working on them, the bike users and general people should consider that the two-wheelers are something that people yearn for. Positioning of leaders is that the mid to high age people would keep manners. It's very cool, and stylishness would uphold this style. Western leaders, to which, as a cultural zone, our positioning it would be that we would become leaders in this aspect. That would be a key theme. That's all for my answer. Thank you.
So the person at the back. Good morning, Magazine X. I am Shinryo. I would like to ask you about the question about the car inspection system from Emulate Sompo. So there are some agreement to be reached for Sompo Life. So repair garage and in relation to Sompo Life, consistently they have been taking the leadership, and there are some guidelines have been issued. How to increase the labor rate? I think this is a major challenge for the manufacturers, dealers, and also the workload in the or the what is called the index. This stock company, Tokyo Marine has been the president, historically speaking, and many people are seconded from their non-life, and as I think they are the for-profit organization taking the size of its non-life. So this labor rate is an issue between non-life and the dealers, but as for the index, the non-life side is dominant at the stock company side, and who is calculating the index, which has a long time effects, and that needs to be more transparent. So against the 8 car manufacturers, I requested for questionnaire. Well, in order to research on the workload, a car is needed. So unlike a statutory car inspection, we cannot wait for 3 years. Once the car is introduced into the market, the car might be broken today. Actually, we do not have sufficient time to get knowledge. Toyota and others. So a new car that's known to anyone has been provided to the center over a long period of time for free of charge. And from the viewpoint of users, from the viewpoint of repair centers and also the policyholders, this is not palatable. So are you going to revisit the agreement? And also there was a mentioning about the center, but are you going to revisit your policy? Do you intend to revisit your policy? So your question is about what is the stance as the industry in relation to the guideline. So the car is delivered before the sales for free of charge. Why is it that has been continued? The agreement should be 50 and 50. It should be fair. However, unnecessary you are providing the favor to a non-life. Why is it the manufacturer provide the pre-sell car to a non-life, and it is not fair? Why is it that you are trying to change the current status quo? I do not understand that it is provided for free of charge. But Mr. Matsunaga, do you have any comment as an industry in relation to the guideline? Well, to begin with, the car insurance issues within the insurance agency, as there has been some findings from the authority, this is very important issue. There were cases of fraudulent claims, and also the administrative penalty was imposed. So regarding this important car insurance issue, we have a high awareness as car industry, and we take it very seriously, and we are aware that we have to address it thoroughly. And the issue associated with the center, as you have pointed out, I think the various opinions could be expressed. However, on this occasion, I would like to refrain from making remarks. Microphone, please. Microphone, please. Could you please turn on the microphone? Well, on that issue, as an automotive industry, I'd like to refrain from reply. Thank you.
Online members also are solicited for asking questions. Online participants, if you have any questions, we would like to nominate you. Please put the mic video mode on and mention your name and company name. On the PC screen, please press the raise your hand button. Online participant, Best Car, Terasaki-san. Please ask your question. We will switch over the screen, so please put on the microphone and camera mode so that your image will be shown, and after that, ask your question. Best Car Terasaki is my name. Can you hear me? Yes, we do. Video doesn't seem to switch on. I would like to ask at this situation, 2025 October, it's 7 months later, so Japan Mobility Show is upcoming, and I would like to ask about that. As of today, active discussion was exchanged, as I hear. What kind of discussions were conducted? Can you give some details about what was discussed? And accordingly, 2 years ago, a very innovative Japan Mobility Show, the first round of that was held. The second round, 2025, Japan Mobility Show is upcoming. And what kind of show is it to become? Can you give me some concrete examples and any thoughts you have about it, please? Thank you for your question. For the mobility show, then I would like to have Mr. Mibe, our Deputy Chairman, for Japan Mobility Show. On this occasion, a rich and dreamlike mobility society to be established is our thought. So there are 3 axes that we have created accordingly. The first is about the future of mobility. The second is the appeal of mobility itself, and the third is the business of mobility. Those are the 3 axes where companies and also the general citizens, etc., get together so that a very exciting future can be considered. As of today, the details unfortunately hadn't been concluded. Therefore, the outline of the details around June is to be announced. Previously, 1 million and more of visitors came, therefore continuing from the previous event. If possible, 1 million people can enjoy this event. And I hope that this will become stabilized as so. That is what we expect of it. In any case, there are a lot of difficulties surrounding the automobile industries, but the company and our customers, who are you, can enjoy this event. And in order so that this can be achieved, we are preparing for the details. So please wait for a little more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There doesn't seem to be additional question online. So now we'd like to receive question from the floor. TV Tokyo, I am Abe. Mr. Katayama, I'd like to ask you a question. So in the earlier Q&A on tariff, so if it is difficult to avoid the tariff on the 2nd of April, you said that you had a discussion as a preparation between the public and the private sector. What are the countermeasures you have discussed as a preparation? Thank you very much. Well, avoidance of a tariff is what we would like to see, but this is the government-to-government negotiation. It is difficult to predict when this will be resolved. If such things happens on April 2nd, then significant production adjustment will be expected. Well, not only the OEMs, but also suppliers. So among the 5.5 million workers working for the automotive industry, so if the car production adjustment is necessary, where the damage will be felt and where we have to make a coordination, we have to think about it. And of course, there will be an impact on the OEM. But what we can do between the public and the private sector, or what we should do between the public and the private sector, that needs to be discussed in advance. Open and the transparent trade relationship will follow at the end of the day. We believe in that. Once the structure is changed, it will be irreversible. So paying attention to such a factor, what kind of measures can be considered in advance. So of course, 14 car manufacturers in Japan are united together in Japan, but there are limits of what the private sector can do. And also, we have to discuss with all the relevant parties and the stakeholders. That was confirmed today. So regarding the production adjustment, including Japan, so this is just an example. Well, depending on each company, the business model in the United States differ from one company to another. I'm not saying that the production adjustment will occur across the board, but in reality, that may occur for the car, and it may occur for the parts level. So this is just an example. Thank you.
Then next person, please, over this way, on this row. Japan Broadcasting, Hatanaka is my name. Mr. Makoto Uchida will, as of this month, retire from the CEO role at Nissan, and the deputy chairman's role is what I would like to know about. The next CEO will not be a Japanese national, but will you be providing someone else from Nissan to work as deputy chairman at JAMA? About the arrangement of the deputy chairman's role, Matsunaga-san will respond. So, position of deputy chairman would be as according to the rules be handled, and the appropriate handling would be conducted in order to determine the candidate. At this moment, there is nothing that we can mention on a concrete level. On no respective questions. for the member company, there are unique reasons, but this is an issue about what to be done about JAMA as an association overall. So as mentioned, there is nothing as JAMA at this moment to mention. Thank you.
Now, we would like to take the final question. The person on the final row, Japan TV, I am Shiroma. I'd like to ask you a question about tariffs. Well, this morning, after the board meeting, you visited the METI and have a discussion. So, specific countermeasures and production adjustments were also on the agenda. So, was that a part of the discussion with METI today? Well, this is about the issue on tariffs. So, Mr. Katayama, please. Thank you very much for your question. Maybe the way I provided explanation was poor. Well, this is a hypothetical situation. Should such kind of situation arises, just as one example, as a preparatory measures or what kind of action should be prepared. That was discussed between the public and the private sector, but we do not have a specific discussion at the individual car company. 5.5 million people are working for the automotive industry. In order to protect the automotive industry, this was just mentioned as an example. So from some time from April, the production will be suspended or the plant will be suspended. That is not what I am talking about.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you have other questions, but due to the time, I'm sorry. But with this, the press interview session will be concluded. Thank you very much for your attendance today. So we will have the people on the stage leave here. Media members, please wait.